This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLisio and Kenny Bergamy.
Well, hey there. Glad to have you along for another edition of the Farm Monitor. 2018 is underway. So is year 52 for the show itself. Wow. Hard to believe. I'm Ray. He's Kenny. And this is what we call the rundown.
That's right, Ray. Coming up, Damon Jones heads to Lyons, Georgia to see how this year's onion planting went. Is it even possible to make the Vidalia onion better than it already is? Why one grower says it can always be better. Also on the program, white-tailed deer. They can be a farmer's worst nightmare. But John Holcomb shows us a program that's not only helping to control the population, but giving to those in need at the same time.
And then later, the incredible story of how this simple Christmas tree farm in Paulding County is now an agritourism hotspot, thanks large in part to the Georgia film industry. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
While Georgia might be the most diverse state when it comes to agricultural production, one of its signature crops is, of course, the Vidalia onion. And this time of year, growers all around the onion-producing region are hard at work getting ready for the new year. Damon Jones has that story.
Even though Georgia might be more known for their peanut, poultry, and peach production, only one crop carries the actual name of the region it's grown in, the Vidalia onion. And farmers in this 20-county production region recently wrapped up planting season and are excited to get things started.
We start with our seed beds in September, and that really kicks off the fall for us. We're normally finishing up our Vidalia crop from the previous year at that time. So we're excited to get the new season started with everything we learned from the previous year and try to implement it into this crop and just trying to produce a better onion.
And that's for good reason, as this crop is the driving force behind these communities' economy.
In the whole Vidalia onion region, we have about 12,000 acres. We were up higher than that at one point, but one benefit we've seen is the varieties have become more stable, and we've had some growers that have learned some really good ways of being consistent in producing onions.
Consistency and quality don't come easy, though, as producing these prized onions takes plenty of hard work and attention to detail.
We streak it off so that we have our rows laid out, and then we rotivate it so that we get that nice bed that you see behind me, and then we come in and peg it and throw plants out, and then the people will come behind and individually put each one of these plants into the ground.
The hand planting right now is the best way to produce them, just with our climate and the weed control aspects that we have to face.
When putting these plants into the ground, timing is everything. That's why having the cooperation of Mother Nature is essential. And so far, so good this planting season.
We've had a very dry planting season, which is what we like to have, like a little bit of rain now and then, but we really only had one stoppage due to weather. And that's one of the things we run into in the fall, especially after Thanksgiving. Weather gets a little questionable for us because of these fronts and different things that are moving through that will dump some rain on us coming across the country. This is our big crop and trying to get it, and it's very critical to get those days in, because if you get behind in the beginning, you're going to be behind at the end.
However, not everything went exactly as planned, as Hurricane Irma forced onion producers to make big decisions early in the season.
Everybody kind of waited to plant their seed beds for the hurricane to move through. We actually took a chance and went ahead and planted it and got them up out of the dirt before the hurricane hit. So we were able to kind of sit back and almost relax a little bit while everybody else was struggling.
And once the onions are all in the ground, the crop still takes plenty of management to ensure a quality product.
Low sulfur and sandy soils, the same stories rung true for 30, 40 years. Is that's what makes a sweet onion. And so our producers have really tried to learn and micromanage the amount of fertilizer they put out.
Reporting from Tattnall County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Thank you, Damon. Now, meantime, lower tax bills in the future. The tax code overhaul passed by both the House and Senate recently makes many changes to the tax code that will benefit farmers and ranchers. American Farm Bureau Federation tax specialist Pat Wolf says one of the many benefits of the new bill is that it includes lower individual tax rates. Also new to the tax code, a deduction for business income.
farmers and ranchers will be able to take a 20% deduction of their business income. So if they made $100, they'll be able to take a $20 deduction. That's new, and that will also help reduce the taxes that are owed. The bill doubles the estate tax exemption to $11 million per person. At that level, the vast majority of farmers and ranchers won't have to worry about the estate tax anymore. Most of the provisions are temporary. They only last for 7 years. So starting next year, Farm Bureau will be working to make those important tax deductions, the lower rates, and the estate tax exemption permanent.
White-tailed deer, they are perhaps the most abundant mammal in the United States. However, while some see them as a prize or trophy for the wall, they can be a real nuisance for farmers.
Here now, the Monitor's John Holcomb on a unique program that's being used to fight this problem.
We really don't know what to do. It's a problem. We know that.
That problem he mentioned? Crop depredation caused by deer. Every year in the United States, millions of dollars worth of crops are damaged by deer. And Bullitt County, located in the southeast part of the state, is not exempt from that. It's a big problem that only seems to be getting worse.
Used to, I'd say it was small fields, it was, isolated areas, but now it's widespread. For whatever reason it may be, we've got a issue that's costing the local farms.
Deer are known to damage crops such as soybeans and can even do some harm to peanuts. In Bullitt County, though, the biggest harm is happening to cotton.
The main issue we see with the cotton is in the first 3 weeks after it comes up out of the ground, the deer come out of the woods and it's like a snack to them, but it's one bite and that's all it takes, and it kills the plant. And once it's dead, it's dead.
Bullitt County is home to quite a few cotton producers. We went out to one family farm that has just finished their harvest to find out just how bad the damage was this year.
This year we lost about 200 acres totally destroyed to deer of cotton during that window when they just kill it. Probably overall, over total either destroyed or deer damaged acres, it cost us somewhere between $150,000 and $200,000 in lost revenue. That's not what we spent. That's what we didn't get to sell it for.
In order to combat those losses, farmers have turned to a program through the Georgia Wildlife Federation to help get control of the deer population in the county. And it even helps those in need in the process. The program is called Hunters for the Hungry.
There was a need to be able to reduce the deer herd, and these farmers, seeing the same need that we see in feeding needy Georgians, decided that, well, we don't need to slaughter the deer and just leave them laying. We need to be able to do something with this high protein meat.
And something they did. The program allows the deer to be taken to certain processors, which will process the meat for free and take it to the local food bank in the area. We stopped by the Food Bank of Statesboro to talk about the program. Their freezer was full, and they are grateful.
We do give very little fresh meat out. Usually it's canned meat and canned items because of sustainability issues. Most of our clients are excited to get fresh deer meat. We're very grateful to be able to have it. Obviously, our operating expenses are based on charitable contributions from businesses, United Way. But that being said, fresh meat's a hard thing to come by.
The program alone isn't enough, though. Farmers say something else needs to be done.
When we get overpopulated, and like we seem to be with the deer population, it's not just a little problem. It's a major problem, economic problem for our growers in this area, and we don't know all the answers. We need some help trying to solve that problem.
I wouldn't be standing in front of this camera telling you about it if it wasn't a serious economic problem. This is how we feed our families, and it's really, really bad.
Reporting in Statesboro for the Georgia Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
All right, John, thanks so much. Well, if you've ever watched the Netflix hit series Stranger Things, then you may recognize this farm. Another example of how the Georgia film industry is boosting the local economy. That's next when the Farm Monitor continues.
From mapping the genomes of orphan crops, like finger and foxtail millet, to tracking the genetic evolution of agronomic and wild grasses, 2017 winner of the D.W. Brooks Award for Excellence in Research, Professor Katrine DeVos has played an integral role in the development of a more food-secure world. For DeVos, who now holds joint appointments in the University of Georgia Department of Crop and Soil Sciences, the Institute of Plant Breeding Genetics and Genomics, and the Department of Plant Biology, her interests in plant genetics began while she was an undergraduate. Over the years, she gained a reputation as a pioneer in the field of grass comparative genetics and became interested in non-Western agronomic crops. Crops popular in Africa and South Asia, like millet and sorghum, are often described as orphan crops because of the lack of financial support for their research. Nevertheless, DeVos began a line of research into millet genetics as part of a team led by the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics. She was instrumental in developing the first pearl millet cultivar with improved downy mildew resistance. In 2003, she established a broad research program at UGA exploring the genetics of wheat, switchgrass, seashore paspalum, and millet. Since then, her work has helped to isolate an economically important dwarfing gene in pearl millet. She also played a leading role in the development of the foxtail millet genome sequence. In 2016, DeVos's work with orphan crops earned her the UGA Research Foundation's Creative Research Medal, and later that year, she was also elected a Fellow to the American Association for the Advancement of Science. She is currently focusing her efforts on bringing finger millet breeding into the 21st century through the development of genetic and genomic resources for the finger millet community.
$9.5 billion. That was the economic impact of the Georgia film industry in fiscal year 2017. In fact, our beloved state now ranks #1 in the world for feature film productions. Paulding County, you're a part of that financial success. Thanks to the Netflix hit series Stranger Things, Sleepy Hollow Christmas Tree Farm is now inundated with fans wanting to see the many locations the show used to film season 2.
We've had a lot of people out here lately. The Stranger Things has been quite successful for us. Granted, we haven't really tried to market the whole farm on it, but we have taken advantage of the situation, so to speak.
It was impressive. You know, I live on the property and I would watch all the trucks roll in. It almost turned into a mini city out here. You know, they had their own power, their own, you know, just tons of trucks would just roll in all day long. And but they were very professional. We've had a few other small productions filmed here in the past, commercials, things like that. But Netflix was just extremely good to work with. They were very professional, left the place perfectly immaculate after they left, and just watching from afar, watching the, you know, just the operation was very, very impressive.
This here is Merle's Pumpkin Patch. It started the Sleepy Hollow Pumpkin Patch, and they converted it after the season. Basically, this here is where Hopper pulled up to dig the hole when they figured out about the underground, or the upside down, I'm sorry. So right behind the sign there is they had about an 18-foot deep hole that they would climb in and out of for the scenes, and it was, they ended up kind of not making it workable for farming anymore, but it's not a big deal. The price you pay. Yeah, it's just part of it.
Oh, we were so excited. I mean, we were already huge fans of season 1, and just we were counting down the days for season 2. Of course, we were still finishing up our fall season when it opened, when season 2 launched, so we didn't get to binge watch it in the first night because we were still operating Sleepy Hollow Farm, the Corn Maze, the Pumpkin Patch, Haunted Trail, Escape Woods, and all that. But as soon as we were out of our busy season, we binge watched that show, every single episode. And just, I mean, we didn't actually realize how much the farm was going to be in the show. So it was very, very impressive to us to see almost every single episode had the farm in it, one scene or another. So it was great. Our father-in-law started this farm, and well, he moved down here in the 1970s, started the farm in the 1980s, sold his first Christmas tree farm, or sold his first Christmas tree in 1980, and it was a Christmas tree farm for many, many years. We decided to expand the farm. About 4 years ago, we invested in the corn maze, the pumpkin patch, this new property back here. We opened up Escape Woods about 1.5 years ago, and then you know, Stranger Things approached us, interested in filming season 2 here, and of course we were very interested, and it was a great experience.
Escape Woods is our different spin on an escape room. We a few years ago we went to an indoor version of one, and it was fun, but it's just, with us being farmers and outdoor, we thought it could be better. And so we wanted to kind of incorporate, we were already part of the Georgia Agritourism, and we try to want to incorporate something like that, and we're all kids at heart anyway, so what better than do to make a game in the woods. We started with our first one is the Dig. It's an 80 by 40 foot maze with multiple rooms in there with the treasure hunt. So you'd have to go in there and find your way through. We really didn't think, I don't know how far we thought we'd get with it, be something cool for the off season or this, that, and other, but it's turned out to be very huge for us. Right. So, and since the Dig, we've added 2 more games and on the process of adding a 4th.
People in Paulding County, you know, if they want to do Escape Woods, a lot of people are a big fan of escape rooms, would have to go into Atlanta and do that. Now we have so many people come out from Paulding County, Dallas, Hiram, Powder Springs, all over, just saying, wow, you know, there's something to do in my backyard that's totally unique, different than everything else. So it's been great. It's been great seeing the new people come in from outside the area, and it's been great seeing you know, our local customers that my father-in-law has been serving for years through the Christmas trees. And it's also great to see, we've had people, adults maybe 25, 30 years old, come and do Escape Woods and say, you know what, I think I got my Christmas tree here when I was, you know, 8 years old. They recognize the property, and so that's just great to see that people are just engaged with the farm and you know, enjoying what we do.
Yeah, pretty cool place, and if you're a fan of the show, I'm telling you, it is a must-see. And those escape rooms, very cool, very creative. They even have actors that play along with the visitors. Here's all the info you need. Just log on to sleepyhollowtrees.com. You can also find them on Facebook. Time for our final break. Up next, though, growing plants and food on Mars. Is it even possible? The answer may surprise you.
Hey there, USDA family. Remember the motto? What is it? Do right and feed everyone. You know that's our motto for USDA, but to me, it's really more than just a motto. Think about those 5 simple words, how they should encompass the vision and the legacy of what the United States Department of Agriculture is all about. Once again, I am proud to work with you. I tell people that all over the country, how proud I am to serve with a dedicated group of professionals in your jobs every day. You're part of a legacy that goes all the way back to 1862. Remember when President Lincoln created our department? I wasn't there that day, but I was there a few days later. I'm taking a few minutes each week to share our 7 strategic goals for fiscal years 2018 through 2022. And this week, we're up to our 3rd strategic goal, which is promote American agricultural products and exports. This goal goes with the second half of our motto, feed everyone. And we have 3 objectives tied to this goal. Number 1, expand international marketing opportunities. American farmers and producers provide the most important product in the world, life-sustaining food. Isn't that noble? The 2014 Farm Bill called for a new position for the Undersecretary of Trade and Foreign Affairs. Ted McKinney will oversee the Foreign Agricultural Service. He'll work closely with the Commerce Department and the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative. Ted's going to wake up every day asking, where can I sell more agricultural products in the foreign markets today? Number 2, prevent or resolve barriers to trade that hinder U.S. food and agricultural exports. One of the most notable trade agreements, NAFTA, is up for renegotiation. Agriculture generally has done pretty well in most areas under NAFTA, but we know that there always can be some improvements, and that's what our president wants. Some countries do present trade barriers, and we won't stand for those that are unjustified. But just saying please is not enough. We're going to be taking appropriate action to enforce our trade rules. Objective 3, to build a strong demand in developing countries through these trade capacity building protocols. When other nations can enter international markets, American farmers have increased opportunities. We want our trading partners to enter the market. We want them to understand our regulations and our policies. Frankly, this opens up communication and helps us avoid unjustified barriers to our exporters. Food, I've said it before, is a noble thing to trade. America has a great story to tell and great products to sell. Our unified message to our growers is, you grow it and we'll sell it. Thank you for helping to promote American agricultural products and exports. And I look forward to talking with you again next week. Don't forget, until then, do right and feed everyone.
Finally this week, the idea that humans might one day live on another planet is perhaps not so far-fetched. In fact, a former student at UT's Institute of Agriculture was part of a remarkable project that explored the possibility of life and sustainability on Mars.
As Charles Denny reports, the landscape that substituted for the red planet was more down to earth.
Life on Earth, paradise in fact, but it could be another planet. Hawaii might bring to mind beaches and rainforest, but some areas could pass for space, the final frontier. This project, called High Seas, funded by NASA and the University of Hawaii, simulates life on Mars. There's a UT Institute of Agriculture connection. Crew Commander Jay Bevington is a 2011 graduate of its Biosystems Engineering program. He describes the amazing locale, one of the world's largest volcanoes, and where they lived, their habitat, the HAB for short.
And so we were on an active volcano, Mauna Loa, on this sort of the slope area of this volcano, and it's geologically really similar to Mars. Very young lava flows, no vegetation, and so when you look at the landscape, it's actually very Martian. We're very high elevation, so the HAB was located at around 8,200 feet.
Bevington here is back on campus talking about his experience. The High Seas crew ate astronaut food and did experiments and took geological samples. Bevington was working in synthetic biology, sort of the 3D printing of molecules. They also experienced the time delay that comes with space communication.
We had 20-minute one-way communication delay, so that means if I send you an email that says hi, that's 20 minutes. When you reply and say, hi, how are you? That's 40 minutes.
243 days, 8 months Jay Bevington spent with the High Seas crew in a 1,200 square foot enclosure, though they did venture outside for an occasional spacewalk. The bottom line intent was to measure the psychological impact of taking someone from Earth and putting them on another planet.
So we're part of a psychological study, and so part of what we do in the day is to generate data for the researchers to understand what life in the HAB is like and what we're going through. The other part is simulating what life would be like as an astronaut. So in any given day, we would have a mix of tasks.
Bevington, a Tennessee farm kid and aspiring astronaut, believes life on Mars could be doable in his lifetime. He possesses the skills and sense of exploration that could make this visionary science into a future reality. This is Charles Denny reporting.
Chuck, thank you very much. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Farm Monitor.
And here's a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on your farm. Be sure and check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and with us on the show.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.